Section 7.3, problems 1 through 4. Let's start with number 1, of course. For a binomial experiment with R successes out of N trials, what value do you use as a point estimate for the probability P on a single trial? All right, so it's going to be P hat. So P hat, well, it's the number of successes out of N trials. So it is exactly R over N. Problem 2. In order to use the normal distribution to compute a confidence interval for a proportion, what conditions on NP and NQ have to be satisfied? All right, so both N times P and N times Q have to be greater than 5. So do we have that down here? There it is. It's the first one. NP greater than 5, NQ greater than 5. So let's select that as our answer. Number 3. Results of a poll of a random sample of 3,003 American adults showed that 20% do not know that caffeine contributes to dehydration. The poll was conducted for the nutrition, with a margin of error of plus or minus 1.4%. So question A is, does the margin of error take into account any problems with the wording of the survey, questions, interviewers, errors, or bias from sequences of questions and so forth? No, it does not. So I can't select it, so I'm just going to have to write no here. And part B is, what does the margin of error reflect? Well, let's see. The margin of error just reflects the difference between the observed proportion and the true proportion. Do we have that anywhere here? The margin of error reflects the difference between, no, that's proportion and the mean. How about this one? The margin of error reflects the difference between the true proportion and the observed proportion. That's the one that we want. What are the other ones? Let's just be careful. P and Q, no, that's the probability of success and failure. The total length of the confidence interval, no. I think we're going to go with the second one here. The difference between the observed proportion and the true proportion. And number 4, you want to conduct a survey to determine the proportion of people who favor a proposed tax policy. How does increasing the sample size affect the size of the error? As the sample size goes up, the error should go down. So do we have that here? As the sample size increases, the margin of error decreases. I think that's the one we want. What do the others two say? Increases, the margin of error increases. No, as you take a bigger sample size, you don't get more error. As the sample size increases, the margin of error remains the same. No, I think we're going to go with the very first selection here. There we go. First 4 problems are done.